Origins of Life by Aidan, Chris, and Abbas.
Shortly after becoming famous, Charles Darwin proposed the idea, in a letter to another scientist, of a warm little pond where the potential elements that are necessary for the creation of life spontaneously could come together in the right conditions to form life. Now, this was different from other theories of the time in that most people believed that life came to be from different things, but it just kind of popped in out of thin air, like different kinds of bugs would just originate from decaying wood, which obviously was very different from Darwin's theory. Now, after Darwin proposed his theory of a warm little pond, people were very skeptical of it because it really was a revolutionary idea for the time, just like his theory of evolution. But eventually, the components of life were discovered, that being RNA, amino acids, fatty acids, other things like that. And the fact that the elements needed to create these structures were so varied and complex did encourage skepticism among early scientists after these were found, that they could spontaneously arrange themselves into molecules that would form what we call life. But the fact is, they can assemble according to Darwin's theory.
RNA is suspected to be the first genetic carrier before DNA evolved. It was formed in early Earth conditions into monomers, and then it arranged into chains, and this was made possible by minerals that are found in clay. RNA was able to self-replicate at early stages due to ribosomes that formed, and they held that task before proteins evolved. The lipid bilayer is the basis for all forms of life because its sphere of isolation lets the cells regulate their own environment, and it controls the conditions inside the cell. Hydrophobic versus hydrophilic is the hydrophobic tails point towards each other and the hydrophilic heads interact with water. It's least challenging for spontaneous formation because it's a simple chain of hydrogens, carbons, and a couple oxygens. The lipid is more selective than fatty acids, therefore it would have been harder for cells to have formed in early Earth conditions because they wouldn't have been able to evolve. The fatty acids let more inside the cell, so the inside of the cell was able to evolve and form. The main question with the first cells was whether it's life or not, since it's only made up of RNA and lipids. Selective transport controls what can come in or out of the cell. And as the cell developed, proteins began to appear, and obviously they were catalysts and enzymes. And after DNA appeared and became the primary genetic molecule, RNA was able to become a bridge between DNA and protein. Where's the proof? Stanley Miller and Harold Urey tested Oparin and JBS Helden's theory regarding early Earth conditions. Their theory stated that early Earth conditions favored complex compound synthesis. Miller and Urey found that multiple compounds were formed, including amino acids. This was another experiment done by a scientist named Bob Hazen. It's similar to what Miller and Urey did, except he uses a pressure vessel because pressure can stimulate formation of organic molecules, just as well as the conditions created in Miller's experiment. He combined water, pyruvate, and a powder that releases carbon dioxide and formed thousands of chemicals in only a few hours. The experiments were carried out on such a tiny temporal and physical scale relative to the Earth's history that it is entirely feasible that organic molecules were spontaneously synthesized in this way.